Greetings, friends. Happy Saturday. I'm coming to you in the middle of our holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, with the message of equilibrium. And the equilibrium is part of, here's the card right in front of me from equilibrium. It's one of the principles of the adjustment card. I just looked down and saw her from an earlier spread I drew. Uh, and equilibrium relates to our ability to maintain balance in our circumstances through inner alignment. The traditional name for this card is Justice, and the name for this card in the Thoth deck is Adjustment, which refers to our ability to come into alignment from inner adjustment. So, equilibrium is a natural process of growth, the process we go through in growth and learning to stay, learning to maintain our balance while we navigate our life. The Sabian symbol for today is of a young child learning to walk while being protected and supported by watchful adults, watchful parents. I had the gift of spending time yesterday with a 13-month-old great being who is 13 months old in her physical body, who is learning to walk and exhilarated by the process. And as I was meditating on the Sabian symbol today, I was reflecting on that experience with her yesterday and the trust she has in the watchful eye of adults that enables her to take risks. And for example, the exhilaration she feels in climbing stairs. And yet she's not ready to go up those stairs by herself yet. And at the same time, she doesn't want anyone touching her, of course. She wants to do it by herself, and she knows that there's someone spotting her, so she has the courage to walk up those stairs, knowing that she's held if, in fact, she needs support. This is the truth of each of us in every moment. If and when we remember that we're being held and supported by our higher self, by our systems of non-physical support, that the support is infinite and we just need to remember that it's there. So this is transitioning into a larger message about what a reminder of what justice is. And this goes to our work on the tree. The affirmation for justice is, in all things great and small, I see the beauty of the divine perfection that moves into, so first it's the affirmation of the trust of the perfection of all that is, and that affirmation comes from our alignment with heart and solar plexus. Then within our body, we learn to take responsibility for our circumstances from this place of trust. And so that affirmation of justice is, I recognize the manifestation of undeviating justice in all the circumstances of my life. This is a big leap of maturity to be able to take responsibility for every circumstance, knowing that we are a participant and we are a full participant in whatever unfolds in our circumstances. And the big muscle of refusing to be a victim, and fully engaging in whatever shows up, knowing that we are being held and that there is a deeper process going on in the midst of the most confusing or upsetting circumstances. The big step of trust in this is learning to find our equilibrium even when we're thrown off balance. And so that's the message coming forward today. All of us at times have personal challenges of greater or lesser intensity. Within every challenge, we are increasing our muscles of returning to equilibrium. And it's okay if it takes a while. It's okay. Sometimes the return to equilibrium is momentary, sometimes it takes days. And there are also physical challenges that can make it harder. The last few days here in Seattle, in the Northwest, there have been a great deal of earth tremors, as well as, so that makes it harder to ground. There have been a lot of small earthquakes over the last week, can make it harder to reconnect physically and require us to use different tools because our body can feel a little disoriented. And there also have been a lot of solar flare, solar activity that's challenging our nervous system because the electromagnetic frequencies are also intense. So in all of these times, we are reminded of the importance of trusting and riding the waves, holding our awareness of imbalance, and using our tools to get back into balance. So this morning, I went to one of my favorite books, a little book that is beautiful, The Magic Path of Intuition. And this is by a woman, Florence Scovel Shinn, who wrote in the early 20th century. And this was a manuscript that was recently discovered, unpublished, and Louise Hay published it. She happens to be one of Louise Hay's favorite teachers of affirmations. Louise Hay discovered her in the mid-70s. And so I opened the book this morning as an oracle, asking for a connection to my own path of intuition and my ability to connect within and overcome some challenges to equilibrium I've been experiencing in the last few days. And I received a great message about a reminder. The message I got was a reminder that the more we move on the spiritual path, the more we strengthen our muscles and come into our own alignment, the sooner imbalance shows up, because we have committed to a path. Imbalance shows up sooner because it's more important than ever to maintain alignment. So imbalance can show up fast and strong. And so it was a reminder to me to pay attention and not take it personally when I'm imbalanced. So as I pulled forward the message for today with each of us about learning to walk and embracing the challenges of equilibrium on our path, and I went back, I heard her voice saying, "Come back to my book, I have a message for everyone." And I opened the book to the same page I was reading. And so it starts with that. And look at the color. It's a page of fire. I was meditating today on the Knight of Wands, who's our card right now, for the courage to move forward even in the midst of challenge. And this is about justice. If you are on the spiritual path, if you are developing spiritually the path of karma, the path of justice, the experience of manifestation of undeviating justice, the path of justice returns very quickly. The more you know, the more you are responsible for. So learn your lessons and be thorough with the long road of experience. Learning to walk. Send goodwill to your seeming enemy and surround yourself with a great aura of protection. Send goodwill to your seeming enemy and you surround yourself with a great aura of protection. It comes naturally by your commitment to showing up. Your enemies are only those of your own household, your subconscious belief. The perception of outside enemies is part of what we are healing. Our enemies, in quotes, are our own subconscious beliefs. If you resent a situation, you have fastened it to yourself, for you attract what you fear or dislike. When someone has been unjust to you, you are filled with resentment. You cannot forgive that person. Time rolls by, another person does the same thing. It is because you have a picture of injustice engraved in your subconscious. This was written more than 100 years ago, and it's so appropriate. This is what we're learning about. One of my favorite quotes from Tree of Life is, "The master of the temple has no adversaries," and the master of the temple is each of us. This realm of master of the temple on Tree of Life is in the world of Binah, which exists above the world of justice. And so as we learn to assume responsibility for ourselves, and as we practice these tools of assuming responsibility and owning the circumstances of our life, we more and more and more come into our own experience of mastery of our path, which is to move on our path filled with understanding, moment by moment by moment by moment. That's learning to walk. So we come full circle, learning to walk by practicing taking responsibility and being patient with ourselves on that journey of learning. We can fall down, it happens over and over. That's the lesson of gravity as we're learning to walk. Is gravity is the love that binds us all together, and it binds us to this world. And so all of these lessons are real. Our path is real. It's filled with love. And I am so appreciative for the opportunity to share this journey with each of you. Have an amazing day.